time on Loving Cars, we look at the reason why hatchbacks are actually dying. That is next on Loving Cars. Yeah, my name is Edwin and this is Loving Cars. Thank you very much for watching this video and thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please hit the subscribe button because it helps me into creating more awesome videos like this, and it will make me happy if you hit the like buttons because it helps me with YouTube algorithm. That will make sure that so many people watch this video. So why is it that one of my favorite cars segment is actually dying? The hatchbacks. So many cars are leaving South Africa today and we won't see them anymore. Cars like the Ford Fiesta, Ford Figo, Nissan Micra and so many more will no longer be coming to the South African market, including the Kia Rio that Kia South Africa recently announced that it will be killing it in South Africa. Why are these cars dying? Well, if you have that question in your mind, I got a plethora of answers, and it's happening right here. One of the first reasons why the sales of hatchbacks suddenly dwindled and went down throughout the years comes in the sales charts of the 2000s. In the late 2000s, suddenly people started becoming so very much interested in SUVs, and the sales of SUVs skyrocketed. Everyone wanted to drive an SUV. Because of that, even car manufacturers which were not producing SUVs wanted a piece of the pie and started producing SUVs. However, throughout the years, steadily the price of SUVs have been going up due to inflation and all the cost of producing cars and greediness of car manufacturers wanted to flock in and put in pockets a lot of profit. Therefore, a certain segment was introduced. This is the crossover segment. Crossover is when they take a normal hatchback and raise it a little bit higher so that it looks and rides almost like an SUV, and people flocked into these markets and started buying these cars. Therefore, very few people were left into buying hatchbacks. And why sell things that people are no longer buying? So manufacturer says, you know what, to hell with it. People love SUVs, let's produce more SUVs and more crossovers and sell them almost at the same price as a hatchback, and people will buy them. This is why a lot of sedans died. However, I'm a big fan of hatchbacks and I'm driving a hatchback right now. Unfortunately, I will not be able to buy another hatchback brand new of this kind of car that I'm driving right now in a few years to come because it has been discontinued. That's the first reason why hatchbacks are actually dying. The second reason, cost of production. You know, hatchbacks are pretty small cars. And because they're pretty small, in order for manufacturers to make a lot of profit, they must sell a lot of them. Hatchbacks are small and a little bit compact, and that forces manufacturers to reduce a little bit of their prices. You can't pump up the price of a hatchback without giving a clear reason why you should be taking that price higher. People won't buy it. You understand? So the reason why hatchbacks are actually dying is that the cost of production is rising and manufacturers are not getting a lot of income because they can't raise the prices of the small hatchback anymore. There's a ceiling that they've actually reached, and if they try to raise it even more further, people will rather go and buy a crossover or an SUV because the prices are way too close to each other and get a car that has a higher driving height and a proper leg room at the back and a little bit of more space for other passengers. So, in order to force people into buying crossovers and SUV that are more expensive and try and make them look like they are normal and no longer expensive anymore, is to cut your hatchback segment because it's no longer becoming productive. That's another reason why hatchbacks are dying. The third and most ridiculous reason, Euro emissions. We all know that Euro emissions are getting stricter and stricter each and every single year. The Euro emissions of the car that was produced in 2021 is not the same standard that is supposed to be met by the car that was produced in 2023. So Euro emissions are getting more stricter and stricter, and because of that, car manufacturer says, you know what, to hell with it. I'd rather sell a car that will give me more profit because I will charge more in that particular car than to sell a hatchback that I can't charge even more because people won't buy it. Therefore, I have to pay more fines in Euro emissions. So it makes sense for car manufacturers to manufacture SUVs and produce bigger cars and charge more money for that instead of producing hatchbacks that are quite smaller and more affordable to ordinary citizens. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not be surprised. Passenger cars are dying. We might not see another hatchback. And I will give you a few cars that are actually disappearing in the South African market. Because a lot of cars that are sold across the world are sold in Europe, and Europe is the biggest consumer when it comes to car manufacturers, coming next to China. Their emission standard is a must for car manufacturers to actually meet. So, in order to avoid paying more fines like Volkswagen did, paying millions of dollars, car manufacturers decided to cut the production of hatchback. Such heartbreaking. The last one, shrinking market share. If you ask a lot of new car buyers today, except those that are obsessed of buying the Volkswagen Polo, which is also dying by the way, a majority of people will tell you I'm going to buy an SUV. So the market share for selling hatchback has actually shrinked. That's because few people want to buy a hatchback. I understand why people want an SUV or crossovers. The high driving height gives you great visibility. It also gives you, a comfortable sitting position, proper leg room at the back, and it even gives you a sense of full safety. In other words, fake safety. A lot of people that are driving SUVs think SUVs are quite safe. So when you wreck them, there are more chances for you to survive. That is not true, by the way, because if you want to buy a car that is safe, you must look at its, crash and cab rating on how much it was rated out of 5. That will tell you how much that particular car is safe. So the market share for hatchbacks practically is close to non-existent. And here are a few cars that have actually disappeared in the South African market because they are hatchback, and we will no longer get them in South Africa today. Remember the Nissan Micra? Well, say goodbye to that vehicle because Nissan will no longer be producing Micra anywhere in the world, including in Japan. That nameplate have been slid out of the moon. We will no longer have any Nissan Micra. Oh, by the way, I'm one of the last people to be driving a Nissan Micra. If you see a Nissan Micra on the road out there in South Africa, just say hi to that person because he's driving a rare breed. Have you heard of a Ford Fiesta? Well, if you haven't and you are hearing of a Ford Fiesta today, I don't know which cave you just crawl out of from, because this car has been in the market for quite some time. It's a fantastic car and Ford have been producing it for so many years. However, unfortunately, you will not be getting another new Ford Fiesta. It's over, Ford fans. First it was Ford Focus ST, which was discontinued in South Africa and will no longer be coming. Now it's the Ford Fiesta. Bye-bye, Ford. The American Blue Oval will no longer be available in South African market. Why? It's a hatchback, that's why. Have you ever heard of Ford Fiesta sibling? More like the Polo Vivo or the Volkswagen Polo? The Ford Figo. Well, if you thought it was only its bigger brother that was leaving the South African market, you thought wrong. Ford Figo, ladies and gentlemen, is also sliding out of the South African market. You will no longer be able to buy a Ford Figo late in 2024. All the stock that is available now, if they get depleted, my brother, you won't afford to get your hands on a brand new Ford Figo. The only way you can buy that particular car is through the second-hand market. That's it. The Peugeot 108 came in, replacing the Peugeot 107. The French were trying, to entice people into buying Peugeot. Every single entry model of any car, I'm sorry about that, introduce you or give you a taste of that particular brand, which might hook you into buying another car of that particular brand. But the Peugeot 108 failed. South Africans are very brand loyal, and they just refuse to buy that particular car. Peugeot says, you know what? No more. We aren't producing or bringing the Peugeot 108 into South African market anymore. Bye-bye. We are out. Well, bon voyage, French. Yeah, have you ever heard of the Renault Sandero? Oh, by the way, I loved the Stepaway Plus. The 1.6-liter engine. Very reliable. I know a lot of people say French cars, even me, are not reliable, but the The 1 liter 3-cylinder found in the Kia Rios and the 1.6 liter found in the Renault Sandero, which were actually, we find also them in the Nissan NP200. Proper reliable engines. However, you won't be able to buy a brand new Renault Sandero. It's over. And it looks like it was a crossover SUV. Like, I don't know why Renault Sandero discontinued that. And ironically, the Renault Clio will still be continued to be sold. So, at least there's still another French hatchback left in the South African market. However, for the Sandero, bon voyage. Unfortunately, this disease does not only affect the hatchback, but those are the hatchbacks that have actually left South Africa recently, and that's the end of the list. However, there are 2 vehicles that are also actually exiting the market in South Africa. That is the Suzuki Vitara Brezza, which had its clone brother, which is the Toyota Urban Cruiser. In India, they're saying, you know what, we are done producing the 1.4 liter natural aspirated 4-cylinder engine. We will not be giving you that car anymore. So you will no longer be able to purchase a brand new Suzuki Vitara Brezza. Next year, it will be replaced by another model, which is a jacked up car of the Suzuki Starlet. Baleno. You know, Toyota Starlet, Baleno, it's the same car. So it's just the truth. That's how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what I had for you on Love and Cars today. Thank you very much for watching this video. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. See you next time for more awesome video and South African content. Bye-bye.